Comments? I think what we need to do is probably research it with the staff and find out what direction you is what you're trying to get without us making a complete change for the whole city.
Okay.
Because that's what happens. You know, when you're doing it for one, you got to do it for the whole city. It looks like that was supposed to be another around there, but I know there's units per acre.
True.
And do this has got other suggestions. We probably need to go ahead.
One thing real quick, you're pointing to the fourplex, the one that is to the north of me.
Right.
For 18 years, no one has lived in it. I grew up, or my first home was at 470, right around the corner. That fourplex lived in. It's been fenced. Of having to go up and try to maintain the yard and do things like that. Right now, it sits with mattresses in front of the windows. The stairs are rotted away.
Is that the one to the north, did you say?
That's the one to the north.
Check out, because if it's, you know, I'm hearing rumors that it might be condemned. That changes the density a little bit in that area.
Well, the city
If that
told me
happens.
To ask you, because I want to make, I'm much. I've met the owner, and he's,
Okay, well,
I've already met him, and he won't sell, and he's slowly moving mattresses, condemning it.
plan on something like that.
I've done that. They say their hands are tied.
Well, then like the mayor says, the only other thing we've got is we'll have to check into it. I know that we don't spot zone and don't change densities and things like that.
Okay.
So we'll see if there's any other options. We'll talk to our planning, Dave Anderson, and
What we need to do is, as a council, they need to get educated on this. Probably any farther with expense or any deal, we need to have a staff report back to us and tell us just what we can and can't do for you on this case. But I think everything we've got here, you know, you presented, showed us what we got. Staff come which to help you out on this.
Should I wait for a response from you and come to the next meeting?
I don't know if they'll have it by the next meeting. That's in 2 weeks. You know, they might have
I'm
it.
out there every month.
Yeah, can we get something in a couple of weeks?
Have an answer within 2 weeks.
Should I just come to the next meeting? Get back on the agenda?
I think we'll just have our Dave Anderson get a hold of you and tell you what we can do. We'll work on it.
Report back to you with, you know, he'll the direct, either someone from the council or staff will talk to you, so you don't have to come to these boring meetings. All right. Hey, thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, anybody else that would like to address the mayor and council?
Hi, my name's David Johnson, resident. Agenda tonight. We are doing a fundraiser for Brody Lambert down at the fairgrounds on Friday, and we are looking to possibly get the rental fee waived or reimbursed. agenda to be talked about tonight, and I don't. So, and I was pretty sure they submitted the paperwork and stuff for that, but I don't see it.
Uh,
It'll be part of the budget hearing.
Oh,
Or you can talk about it now.
or you can talk, go ahead, discuss it. Yeah, we'll have you talk about it right now.
Okay. So most of you are aware of Brody Lambert, who works for the city and has been a longtime Spanish Fork resident. He's in need of a heart transplant, and we're doing a fundraiser down here to try and get. So far, all the money for it's being brought up by his neighbors and friends to help put the event on, whether it's stuff's donated or what's not donated is being purchased. Me and my wife have paid the rental fee for the fairgrounds for the tennis. Get that reimbursed so that we could turn around and give those proceeds back to the family instead of having to take that out of the proceeds that would go towards them. So we're just kind of hoping that. So I didn't see it on there to see, like, I wanted to make sure that it was going to be discussed tonight. Or tonight, so.
It's our policy as a city. We've sort of made this a long time ago that we don't waive fees because everybody has great cause. Brody works for us. Brody and Aaron's been our parade chairman. They've done a lot of things. We love Brody and Aaron with all our hearts, and we're hoping that Brody's wish will come true, that he gets this heart transplant. But we still, as a city, can't make that adjustment to change the ordinance because it's not fair to take public money to pay for causes. So this, we're gonna donate some money to you
Okay.
right now. We'll write a check. We're prepared to give you some money. It's in this room right now that would be willing to pay that fees for that place.
That'd be appreciated. So
It's just that if you want, we can,
we can wait till the budget hearing, or I don't have the number of what the agreed upon amount was because my wife had been taking care of that paperwork end of it, so I don't know.
So you've already paid the fee, is that correct?
I think she hasn't paid the official fee yet, but she.
All right, let's,
well, we'll just, Dave, what do you think? What's the best way to do this?
Well, if that's your position, then it's a non-issue.
we'll take care of you
We'll
later.
take care of it.
How's that?
It's
Perfect. Thank you,
just
guys.
to help a citizen, or an employee out.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Lee, I can tell you from area up there where Brody is, good job. Good job to the Johnsons and the rest of
Let's,
their neighbors.
Well, while you're up here, why don't you got this brochure that I was going to do
Yeah.
it. I just soon have you do it since you're up here.
So Friday
There's
night,
thousands and right, Seth?
they're doing Friday night down at the tennis courts. We'll be doing a magic show and auction and pie eating contest and what else? And a couple other things that we'll be doing that night for a charity event for Brody Lambert to help raise funds for him. Family admission will be $25 and then $5 per person. It'll be a good cause to help. All the proceeds are going to go straight to the Lamberts to help with their medical bills. So yeah, there'll be a live magician show for the first little bit, and then we'll go into a auction and then a pie eating contest and kind of a fun night for them. So we'd like to get everybody in the city to come out. We'll have signs out advertising for it, and should be a good event.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Mayor, City Councilman, my name's Carrie Hanks. I'm the director of the Spanish Fork Santa Maria Chamber of Commerce, and I just came to remind you all that the scarecrows are back, lining Main Street.
Seen them.
Yeah, there's quite a few, and there's going to be actually got quite a few people there participating. Family groups, church groups, school groups. So, and if there's anybody out there in the viewing audience who'd like to put up a scarecrow, we
I've got
invite you to
this,
do that.
I got this Utah State Aggie.
Yeah,
That
there you
is,
go.
that's
Would you
got a
want- yeah.
cougar tied down to a horse,
Okay.
you know, and
You're on, Rich.
showing the score, you know, 35-20.
Betcha. You bring it.
I tell you what, can we edit this council meeting?
It's no guarantee how long it'll be up.
Yeah, I know, we're gonna
Go.
edit that one right out.
Go Aggies.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Way
we
to
li-
steal my
we-
thunder,
We
Richard.
like to be good neighbors
Hey,
for
I
our
got
sissies
one
in the
full year
north.
to celebrate this, so.
And then it's gonna be 37 more.
No, I think this is the fifth or thanks. No, that,
Want to see my
on
socks?
the 15th. Yeah, I want to see
No.
you. Get your foot up
Gee,
here.
hey. So long, your 3
Taking
minutes
my
are almost
3
there.
minutes.
Yeah, he was wearing a
He's taking your
BYU
3
shirt
minutes.
Friday. Yeah, why can't I brag?
Anyway, downtown, we will have a form on the chamber's website that you can fill out. You know, it's just an email form that you can send in to vote for your favorite scarecrow, or you can come down to the utility office and Marty will let you vote down here. So we're excited. It's going to be a fun October. And we also want to mention that we'll have our Main Street Trick or Treat on Saturday, the 25th of October, from 1 to 3 down on Main Street between Center Street and 4th North. Bring the kids down and enjoy, you know, an afternoon with the local businesses downtown, and they'll be handing out treats and it'll be fun. And we will announce the scarecrow winners that day down at the memorial. So it's going to be fun, and we invite all of you to come on down and help us with our Halloween celebration. So. Any questions or any comments? Okay, well,
No,
thank you
we've
very
had
much.
enough.
Thanks, Carrie.
Okay, go Aggies.
Go Aggie. That a girl. That a girl.
Anyone else? The mayor. Seeing none, we'll go into council comments. Councilman Gordon.
I wanted to say thank annual Harvest Moon Hurrah, and it was great event as usual. Grows every year and went off with a bang as usual, and I'm sure some other council members will have some comments on that. We met. Biggest challenge right now is we're currently looking for our facility as we're running past capacity, and so that was really the main topic, and we go forward about a place to possibly put that. So, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Davis.
Want to mention week. This Thursday from 6 to 8 at our fire station will be an open house. Chief Jarvis wanted me to say that everybody can come and meet the firemen, come and see their equipment, go through the refreshments. So anybody interested in coming down and seeing that, any school groups or any Boy Scouts or any public that any citizens can come and share with the fire department. They really like to show off what they have. They're truly a great fire department. So I picked up this poster in the city office here, and it's from Tabitha's Way. Donate your new or used coats and blankets at Tabitha's Way on 400 at the Veterans Memorial Building on 400 North Main Street. Items donated will be given away October 18th from 9 a.m. to noon. So anybody that has a new coat or a used coat, please, or any blankets or anything that can help the poor and the needy, please bring them on the 18th.
There's a can here. Offices to the west here of the building that they can put those in as well.
Okay. Then the other thing I just wanted to mention was last week we had a party for our employees. I want to tell the citizens of Spanish Fork that our employees of Spanish Fork are truly our greatest asset that we have in our city. And the dedicated workers that we have that are able to run our city the way it is, I'm telling you, our city is one city in the state. The mayor's wrote 2 or 3 letters and articles about that have been in the Herald and a few other newspapers, and it truly is true. But what makes us so wonderful is our employees and our citizens too, and all of the things that we. But I want to publicly for Spanish Fork for the job well done to make. Mayor.
Great.
The Scouts here reminded me of one of our local residents, Blake Barney, who went up to Camp Maple Dell and dredged out the lake up there and fixed up the lake in Camp Maple Dell. And he did all this for nothing, along with, was it Sunrock? Between those 2 companies, they went up and fixed up the lake up at Camp Maple Dell, and I'd just like to give a shout out to Blake Barney. Thank you.
Councilman Scobes.
Mayor, the Harvest Moon Hurrah, just a great vote of that. For fear of leaving someone out, I'll just make it very blanket. All those associated with and the Harvest Moon Hurrah, a lot of wonderful feedback, a great event that many people look at the library park, enjoying the music and the vet met within the past the veteran work with the VFW and the American Legion have been active with different community events, veterans funerals, and then coming up in November, Veterans Day, where the 2 different groups have already decided the Legion and the VFW to the schools here in the area, the elementary schools, be able to do a schools. They do a great job with that and are actively working and are just about rephrasing and adopting the bylaws, Constitution and bylaws, and getting that approved and amended through both groups that participate in the Veterans Council. And again, those that are associated with and volunteer with the airport, trains and automobiles out at the airport, and of note, I have some metrics here with that. There were nearly 5,000 visitors, rides given to local youth, about given. The helicopter, they did still 200 people that to do so. The airplane rides were free, just to get the kids and other enthusiasts up and out. There were, let's see, those rides, and then within just the past 2 months, life-saving search and rescue events that our airport has had a hand in finding lost hikers, bikers, things like that that have been up in the mountains. It was into phase 3. They will be closing it within once month and a half or so, they'll be closing the runway for a period of about 8 days. But RFP process, they're looking at mitigating the wetland that is at the north part of it to be able to help for that RFP. But things are going well. It's a great resource that we share with Springville, but one that I think our community has a great appreciation for what it can give to us. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Mendenhall.
Met, which we are a member of, discussed the progress out there at Utah Lake. A number of exciting things have taken place already and scheduled to take place, so be aware if you're a lake goer to keep an eye out. And they've talked about the option of docks, more to different areas, which could change. Number 2, Youth City Council. We're meeting this. Shout out about the Youth City Council. They help behind the scenes of a lot of Fiesta Days things and but are interested in a this is a good resource. Johnson's, Brady and Lee, neighbors up there, and that whole neighborhood around Brody. Them, but just people go through trials and tribulations, and everybody does at some point. We have a way of rallying here in Spanish Fork, in our neighborhood. Had to be a part of a town that does that and does it well, and puts words into action and does it in a very quick manner than everybody else. So
said here, I took my grandkids, we went down to the they were pretty excited with the green men. So if you know the blue men, I guess UVU have the green men. And my little granddaughter was pretty excited when that one came up, talked to her, or I guess they don't talk, they just kind of act. So, so it was great Spanish Fork, great right here. A couple of weeks ago to go up economics farmers put on, and we had a lot of speakers there that I was invited, had an opportunity to, which I love to do, and it was a great honor to be able to do that. We have here in Spanish Fork, and due to our employees, our citizens, you know, it's just got a great feel and a great place to live, and I just this city what it is, that our what we have in this have done and make it a great place. We had a today won the region golf tournament, and so we'll give a shout out to Maple Mountain. They won the state golf. It's a great place here. 101 SF 17. I assume that's
I just have a few issues. This is great because I'm not asking anything other than just chat. check.
Beard growing contest?
I'm losing, aren't I? It's pretty scruffy.
He's been on it for a long time.
Scruffy.
Scruffy. The issue I want to talk about happened today. And what happened was that we had a worldwide outage of Belkin routers, and it was really unusual.
And what
Products you go to Walmart and you buy and you put in your house, and it's between you and the internet.
Okay.
And so this is what our customers were fighting with today. Our phone really started to ring first thing this morning. And really, this problem is an issue with the actual Belkin routers. It was only the Belkin routers that had this particular problem, but it was affecting our customers. That, and so we scrambled to try and come up with a solution that could fix it. We could see that our service was working great at their house, but you know, they couldn't get on the internet. All they know is my internet's broken. The internet. But it really wasn't a problem with our service. The service, the SSCN service was working fine. Belkin actually did finally come out and acknowledge that they had a problem. In fact, to their web actually tell you a possible workaround of what you can do. They're sincerely sorry though. So the workaround that they identified, interestingly enough, I didn't proof this. I don't know if anybody's swearing at them, so I don't want to go down into the logs. But the on our system. So we were pretty confident, and that's this link here. We went on and put up a web page quickly that gave some instructions on how you could get around the problem. We hit Twitter and Facebook. You know, we got a lot of phone calls. It was hard because if your internet's down, how can I push you to a web page?
That's what I was just going to ask.
You're going to ask that. It was actually a lot easier than it sounds. All you had to do was bypass the Belkin router, plug directly into the cable modem, and then you could have got to these instructions. You could also use your phone with 4G or 3G, and you could have gone to the page. People who walked in, and we just printed it for them and handed it to them so they'd have simple. It's easier said than done because you actually had to go and change the settings on every device that was using the router. And you know, if you're like my house, that can be a lot of devices at any given time. But Belkin didn't have a better solution, and as far as I know, I think now they may have it fixed because some of them are coming back online. We were calling customers back just to see if they were having any success, and they hadn't done anything. It was painful, and it was painful for our customers, and we're sorry that that it had to happen. All right, the next item, and we want to talk about a couple of changes, and I know Kira have asked me about a couple of these, and it's been going on for years. I've been in request to get this, and guess what? We're doing it. So you can watch the live broadcast. Anything that we broadcast on YouTube, folks, is now broadcast live on YouTube. So if you're not where you can get Channel 7, the youtube.com/Spanish14. You can watch the programming. You can also go back and watch and other things that we put out on there. It doesn't have all of our programming. It will put more and more out there as we go along. But there's actually quite a bit out there on what the programming can do. So it's not what I wanted to do. I wish it would not do that for me. That's what I wanted to do. So this is the actual YouTube channel. Look, it's live now. There's me waving to the... That's kind of scary, really.
Really moving your arm hard.
Yeah.
My hair doesn't look too bad. But anyways, but you can come out here. Here's the first half of the Wasatch Maple Mountain game.
Commercials?
Commercials, I don't know. Mommy. Well, it would have been.
Okay.
There you go.
Must be a Belkin router.
If you haven't seen our productions, they're actually pretty good. This one is grainy, but I think that's because the wireless signal in here isn't very good, but they stop in. The little thing that shows the clock down in the bottom right, we're ESPN. SFCN. And here's the instant replay. So if you haven't had a chance to watch these, I really encourage people to tune into Channel 17. You can watch the replays there, or you can watch it whenever you want to. There's a really good play coming up. We won't watch till then. But anyways, that's a nice resource. And they can watch cable because they don't like the rate increases, because I don't like the rate increases, but it does give them a way that they can go ahead and watch these and be informed about what's going on. Yes, Kier.
I'm going to try to give you a segue with this. Is this possible because of losing the analog, and we have the October?
Yes, thank you. I'll slip a little money later. No, it is, and this is all part and parcel to what we're doing with the digital conversion, and to do multiple channels that we have available to us. If we wanted to actually do Maple Mountain and at the same time, we would have that capability and some of those types of things. So it all comes in that, and it also is. It's a service we wanted to offer, but we just had to get to the right point in the right time, and everything had to align, and that's what the planets have done for us. So now you can see it there. We also have created a content download server, and this is a little bit different. This is actually where you can go and see content, old content, and we're actually buying a great big one. I think it's, I don't want to lie to you, all of the programming we've ever done onto this server. And so this is free. There's no charge. You don't have to have a login. If you just go to video.sfcn.org, it gets you there, and you can just download anything you want. So you can come in here and say, I want to watch, well, I guess I will actually go in here, because I don't have You can watch Goose in the Wild. It says 10 files, but actually there's more than that in here, and you can see Goose Greenhouse, Goose Electric. And then you can just download these files. Now, it doesn't stream from here. You'd have to download them to your own computer and then run them from that location. It's not a streaming service. It's a little different. It's really in place of us making DVDs for folks. We've always had to do that, and we've always said it's really not the business to sit and make DVDs for people. And then we had to charge for them, and they didn't like that, and we didn't like that, so it was mutual. But you don't have to do that anymore. You can just come and download any of the programs that we have, and we're waiting on that new server, and that will enhance it. We'll just put everything out there so that we don't have to worry about that anymore. So our future plans, we'd really like to be able to do a live broadcast and tape it, so we have 2 games coming at one time. That's probably going to happen in the next month or so, maybe 2, but certainly by basketball. And then simultaneous live broadcasts of 16 and 17, which we would think would be really cool, so that you could watch either the Maple Mountain or the Spanish Fork High School. And then we would be able to, but you can, we'd also be able to get live updates of the other games, so it happens. And we're thinking about doing a live in-studio halftime report, which would be really nice.
John, I'd really like to see a rebroadcast of that Utah State BYU.
That.
Thank you.
$1,000 for them? I'd
Really like to see that again.
You're welcome, Steve.
Yeah.
Mayor,
Yep,
sorry.
yep. And so you won't be able to do a DVD of this meeting, and that won't be on this video.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So let it be written, so let it be done? Is that
There
the way
you
that
go.
works? The last thing is the digital conversion. And as it was so aptly pointed out, October 20th is the date. And so we're asking everyone, please, 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 we want you to continue to receive our service on all of your TVs, even the old tube TVs. And so it is imperative that you give us a call or go to our website so that we can make this all happen for you so you don't have any interruptions. On our tiers, so you always have 2 devices at minimum. They don't cost you any money. You can hook up those TVs. If you do need more than 2, they are $2 a month is all to rent additional boxes. If you have a newer, this link will take you to the SFCN website where you can just order your DTA. You can come right in here and place the order. We'll get it ready for you. It'll tell you when it'll be ready and when you can come pick it up. If you'd like, we'll come and just deliver it to your house. If you're not there, we'll just leave it on your doorstep. And so we want everybody to make sure that they don't have an interruption of service. On the morning of the 20th, it's going to be a big day for us. And we will shut off the old analog channels. And that's channels 2 through 85. And they take up huge amounts of space. We're excited to get them turned off. And if you have a DTA or nothing will change. You won't even know it happened. Life will go on exactly as it did before. If you don't have one and you're on an old analog channel, it's going to go black. So that's what we want to avoid for everybody. That's why we'd love you to go ahead and pick up your DTA so it doesn't go black. If you're currently watching your channels in the 600s with a newer television, and that works great, and that's a great way to get at those, you are watching the digital version, after the 20th, you will need, because the 600s are going away. They're all just going to go down to the knots. So 602 will just be channel 2 because we will only have the digital version.
You're watching in
If you're watching the 600s, you don't need a DTA. The DTA is only if you can't 400s or 600s. If you get any of those channels currently, you do not need a DTA because you already have a digital television that handles our signal and the signal of every other cable company in the United States. So that's really the best choice. What are you going to get out of all of this pain? You do get something really incredible out of all this pain. And I've hinted to it some of the previous times that I've been here. But Spanish Fork is going to go to all HD so that every single channel that we carry, if they produce an HD version, that's what we will carry, just the HD version. There's a few other older actively getting rid of, but there aren't that many. And you know the incentives are good to get people in to do it. Next spring, that we'll be able to actually, we'll start bringing the HD. You just won't be able to see it. But your DTAs will do the conversion. You're still all right. You can still use that old tube TV because that little box, that little DTA, the signal, even if though it's a high definition picture. So that's one of the reasons we bought that particular DTA is it has that capability. Hooking up the DTA is just like when you hook up an old VHS. It's like stepping into the Wayback Machine because you do it the same way. You set the switch on the back of the, right here, on the back of the DTA, and you set it to 3 or 4. You just have to match whatever you set the wall, and you go into where it from the cable out, and you take that and go to your TV. Voila. You get a new remote. The remote actually changes the digital channel here, and your television always. So it's receiving an analog across this cable that goes to your television. Easy. And that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Baby.
Easy squeezy call.
That's right. All right, moving along. Yeah. Chris?
I think mine might be the first one.
Well, then let's go Steve then. Chief Adams.
Steve Adams, Public Safety Director.
Finally giving us guns.
So this first consent item is in reference to a memorandum of understanding where we're seeking to find some grant monies, some fund monies out there, federal monies, to replace some an air compressor for the fire department. There's an individual that works over at Utah Valley University. Put together a team of his students to seek these monies and to write the grant and seek the monies and then help distribute those monies with up to Southern Utah County fire departments. It could be some considerable savings. There is a need for this equipment to be replaced. We're actually 2 years over replacement. Our firemen are getting as much life out of as they can out of the equipment they do have, but they do need that replaced. As a matter of fact, if we don't get these monies this way, we're going to have to find them some other way to keep our firemen safe while they fight the fires here in town. Your signature, Mayor, to say that we will, in the event that they are able to get the money. Any questions? Okay.
Appreciate that. All right. Now we've got Chris Thompson, man of all men.
I don't think this is easy squeezy, but it's pretty easy. We have been with success receiving CDBG grants. Projects. They're somewhat of a matching grant. They've awarded us to place the water and sewer lines on 100 North from 1st East to 3rd East, and then on 200 North would replace the water lines from 1st East to 2nd East, and then we would pay the balance of that. Any questions about that? Okay, the next item is, as discussed earlier by Council, we have, we're now ready to start phase 3 of the runway expansion. This is the task order to for the engineering with Armstrong Consultants to do the engineering on that work. The FAA has an interesting process. They actually have an independent engineering firm look at the work that needs to be done and give their own estimate of what they feel like it should cost, and it has to be within 10% of what our consultant would charge. And this passed that test. The fee for that is in the task order. It looks like it's $253,500, and that's to do both the design and the construction management on that project. Any questions? That is being paid for by the grant. The of that cost, so we pay 2.5% of the overall cost of the project. Right. Any questions about that? Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. And Dave Anderson.
We're on E, but before I dive into that, just a real quick plug for a meeting that's going to be held tomorrow afternoon at the North Park Pavilion. We've been really excited to learn and residents are about some different things that are happening in the city by way of growth, new retail development, restaurants, and that kind of stuff. Occasionally we get questions as well about transportation projects. So tomorrow, again at the North Park Pavilion from 4:30 to there, people, transportation planning group will be there. I believe people from UDOT will be there. All to answer questions that residents might have. It's a great opportunity to just learn more about things that are happening now in the city and things that they're going to happen here in the next few years. So if I didn't mention it, that's tomorrow. We've had kind of an unfortunate situation in our building in a while where we have an is doing very, very well, but we know that sometime in the near future, he's likely going to have another extended leave from the. We get prepared for when that happens so that we have groups on board that are ready to provide building inspection services at the drop of a hat. You understand, I'm sure, that providing a building inspection and providing that service, timing is everything. People rely on us having inspectors available every day. Right now we have 2 inspectors, including the one that I talked about, who's had working with Epic Engineering. They've done a fabulous job for us. We'll continue to work with them. But we'd like also to enter into these 2 agreements, one with Forsgren Engineering, the other with Payson B, C, D, and et cetera, so that should one of them already be committed to another project on a particular day, should one of them have an illness, or any of the things that might keep their inspectors unavailable for us when we need them on a particular day, we can simply go down the line. Certainly this is not, that is requesting that you approve these agreements, that we're going to have them work any more hours for us. As sure as possible that we're going to have somebody available tomorrow when we need them, which oftentimes is the case. We learn that we need somebody on a Wednesday afternoon, so we really need to make sure that we have different options to have somebody there.
Thanks, Dave.
Next item on the consent agenda is a lease extension with Singular. This is for starting to get near the end of their term, and the companies are looking and saying, we want to extend that out a little bit more. This is in the difference I need to bring to your attention, and you need to make a decision on it. Some time ago, a different company brought life to it. As a council, they preferred a 25-year life. This one has a proposed 30-year life. Jason's been working with them on it and put that to their attention. They wanted us to bring it to you and see. And this is closer to 25 and 40, so we thought we'd leave it up to council. But this does have a 30-year life versus the 25 that you've approved earlier. Other than that, this is the standard form that you've seen before. So you need to, you know, if you're good with the 30, just approve it. If you want to change that to the 25, you should make note of that in the approval. The next 2 items are related. Old Mill Capital is the developer of the Old Mill Estates out on Mill Road. And they've built some sewer lines as part of their project. The one they built is an 8-inch line that runs from approximately 1550 south to the intersection with Arrowhead Trail at a little over $64,000, and for that they're seeking a connectors agreement. As you'll recall, the connectors agreement is applicable, is due when they attach on, and it's a prorated basis. This is in the standard form. They also installed a 15-inch sewer line in Arrowhead Trail from approximately 1050 west to sewer line in Arrowhead Trail from approximately 1015 west to Mill Road. The combined total of those 2 is $224,749. And these are regional lines that are going to serve a larger area. They are in our impact fee analysis. We propose to pay these back from the collection of impact fees for our sewer. And with that, this is in the standard form too. So we do recommend that you approve both the impact fee reimbursement agreement and the connectors agreement for Mill Capital.
Pardon? Yes, you may.
Is a contract for an online agenda management system with a company called Board Docs, and we did an RFP, sent out an RFP to the industry. and conducted what you might call an interview, an in-depth review of 3. The company that we settled on actually is the company that also is for many school districts, including the Nebo School District. So we were able to visit with employees of the Nebo School District and get their thoughts and test minutes. The purpose of this come together a lot easier. Currently, behind the scenes, the process to put our agendas together is very lengthy and to use a technical term, very clunky. And it is, yes. The program isn't very expensive. And one of the things that we like about Board Doc, you and I can call light. It's only $3,000 a year, but it will streamline the process that we use extensively. They have a pro version that's quite a bit more expensive. It's $12,000 a year, but it does. We see possibilities that we don't do today, that we do better. But we felt like it would be most appropriate to go with the LT version and get used to it. Reason to go bigger than we could at that time contract for the larger version. We can give you a greater demo and information about this move forward, but it will make it so that you have an easier time looking at the agenda as council. Put a 28 meg file and pages to find. It'll just make the system a lot easier for the residents and put together.
Motion to approve the
By
Question, do we want to keep 30-year or 25-year on the singular?
Good question. In the last contract that came up, did we set a precedence at that point that we
Legal way, I think it's good to be consistent. My recommendation is we go with 25, but you're not bound to do that. You're free to go the 30 that we're proposing if you like.
That's 25. Okay. He's my attorney.
Brandon likes the attorney's advice.
Yeah, you could be thrown in jail someday, and you might need him. All right. Motion.
On
Life.
to life.
Just 25 years. Okay.
All right.
All right. Got a motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by
I'll second it.
Councilman Dart. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any- There you go.
They're paying attention, we like it.
Yeah. They like it. Okay. Public hearing, ordinance 1515, making a variance amendment to the land use.
These are some amendments in Title 15, which is our land use code. These are fairly minor, so I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. The first thing we have is a definition of a billboard. We've just dealt with some litigation revolving around that issue. That would have helped us. It turned out the state has a definition that we're bound by anyway. This is the state definition. We thought it would be well to move it over into our code so that it's readily found there. Second area is on the approval or disapproval of plats. This deals with the area where we allow the developer to request a connectors agreement. The previous ordinance gave them 30 days from the time they completed the project to request that. It seems like a lot of them have trouble getting that in. A lot of times they're waiting for invoices and various things. And so what we've done here is we've extended that to 90 days. And the intent is we'd be very firm with that 90 days. We're also creating a form that they have to, an application form is a better description. They have to fill out thing that deals with that is there will be a fee with that. Established by the city council in the annual budget or by resolution. You've got a budget hearing coming up in a few minutes. It would be well if Kent doesn't have it in there that you put a fee in there, and I assume that either Chris or Dave has given some thought to that and can give you a recommended amount. The next one is very similar. Again, it deals with connectors agreements, and we've made it consistent. So again, 90 days, fill out the written application form, pay the appropriate fee. The last item, the second to last item is recording. We've indicated here that the final plat is recorded within 180 days after approval. That was 120. It seems that wasn't quite long enough. We were granting a bunch of extensions, so we've just pushed that out a little bit. And the last change is the time limitation. We moved it from 180 days to a year to be consistent with the year we grant elsewhere in the code. And that is for time to record a plat till the next recording. So that's just a matter of making that consistent with the rest of the code. So as you can see, these are mainly addressed. If there are no questions, this is a public hearing, Mayor. It would be appropriate to open that up for public comment.
Okay.
Motion to go into public hearing.
Second.
Second by Councilman Gordon. Going to public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. We are now in public hearing. Anybody that would like to come and address this issue is welcome to come forward and talk about it. Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Davis, second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor? Any discussion? Discuss that in the budget, or is that something we need to talk?
Can go in the budget. We draft the ordinance saying you need to go in the budget or by a resolution of council. The reason we do that goes up or down. We don't have to hold a special public hearing just to make that change in the ordinance. We do it in the budget. The budget is a public hearing process anyway. Okay. So that's why we do it that way. It's more convenient, more efficient to just put that in the budget. So when we get the budget in a minute, that ought to be that's in there.
I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion we approve ordinance 1515, making various amendments to the land use.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Scobes. Since this is an ordinance, we'll do it by roll call.
Aye.
Councilman Gordon.
Aye.
Councilman Mendenhall.
Aye.
Councilman Scobes.
Aye.
It is unanimous, so that passes. Change for the Trailside subdivision.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At about 300 west and 100 south, there's a lot. It's a little over a half acre. Fill overlay. 3 lots on the property that we're talking about there tonight. In short, property's changed hands. We're working with a new applicant that would like to get a different plan approved that would involve only having 2 lots. Another difference from this proposal and what you looked at last year is that with this one, the existing home would remain and simply be remodeled, be on lot 1, so a new home would be constructed on lot 2. Really everything else relative to the design would remain the same. The applicant has given us a plan for the home that would be built on lot 2, and one of the conditions that the Planning Commission suggested that you attach to an approval would be to simply make sure that as the applicants submitted here, that home be a 1-story home. They felt that's most appropriate given what surrounds that lot there. And also request a rail fence be built along the city's trail that is on the east boundary of the subject property, simply to define where the public and private space property line exists. So with that be approved, so it's an R16 infill overlay development just to create this one lot.
Right. Any discussions or comments on that?
Motion to go in public.
A motion by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Discuss it in public. Public hearing?
So, second.
Got a motion by Councilman Dart. Aye.
Aye.
Comments,
So,
editorials.
Dave, come on back up here then. DRC was under findings that the two lots do not exceed the density of the general plan. So we're approving an R16 on this, right?
The existing zoning's R1.
Hill overlay on it. The applicant dedicate the trail to the city. Applicants make changes to the plans relative to the fencing, right? Applicants make changes to systems. The easement. One more that it's only our planning commission found that the home on lot 2 be constructed as a single-story structure. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Let's see. Everything else is
Dave, how big is each lot that we're creating there? The lot. Do you have an estimate of where the current home sits and what the new home will be? Just an estimate.
This is gonna, yeah, I believe they're on the order of about 8,000 square feet. Sorry, what? Which ends up being dedicated to the city for the trail there on the east. So what the applicants represented at each lot ends up being about 1/4 of an acre in size, which would be about right. Quite a bit bigger than 8,000 square feet, closer to 10 or 12. Apologize, that's not legible on the image that we sent you.
Who went up in the satellite? Got that. Okay. Any other questions, comments?
for the Trailside subdivision. The Trailside subdivision as a development following the findings and commission.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Davis. All in opposed? Spanish Fork City Budget Revision 1. Yeah, our favorite thing.
They knew when to leave.
Oh, the scouts knew when to leave.
You ever thought about being an author?
It's about time we start filling this out.
We are in fiscal year 15. So we are in the budget year of 2015. It goes soon. And we adopted our budget last June, and our budget's a fluid document, and with quite get done last June and finishing those projects up, and then new projects that come along since July, there's a need for a revision in our budget. And just listening? Okay. What's that a picture of? A house. Your house, right? In your house, there's a budget. Your parents have money to spend, right? There's a budget that they have to follow. Well, at the city, there's budgets that the city has to follow also. Can your parents just spend whatever money they want? No, they have to. That's the same with the city. The city can only spend money that it has. It's not like the own and keep going in debt and debt and debt. That we have to keep toe at. Here's our beautiful city. You can see the ball field there? The city keeps track of that and makes. Can you find the pool? There's the pool. Who can find the city office? You find it about right there? In the library? Across the street? And you can even see your house? Oh, okay. Anyway, a lot of amenities. And spending taxpayer dollars is something that the staff were. The budget revision that we have before you will increase dollars, and most of that is going to be in some projects that are going to be done in the utility funds. But I'll dissect it down to the council and to the public to see where that $2.8 million increase is going to be at. So as you can see on this, our revenues in this section. These are years that have already been passed, so 2012, 13, and 14. This is the 15 budget that we've already adopted, and this is the new budget, and this is the $1 million, and our enterprise funds are going to go up almost $2 million, while our miscellaneous funds are going to go down just a little bit. So that's right? You guys have that, scouts, in your scout budget?
Friends of Scouting.
Probably not.
I said it.
We're going to talk about.
Sorry.
We're going to talk about the general fund first, and then we're going to talk about our enterprise funds. But I put some red dots over here to kind of highlight which ones we're going to talk about. But inside our general fund, we do a lot of services. Can you see any of those services, Scouts? Probably not the cemetery. You go to the library, and you maybe been to the fairgrounds, been to the pool, maybe golfing, and maybe you've but there are, maybe your scout leaders have been to the senior center. We're going to talk about a couple of these. So if you look in the $52,000. So Chris's department is asking for an additional $52,000. Well, this is Chris's slide here of him asking for additional money, and where is it at? Well, in this line item right here in GPS, he's more, right? Equipment that he needs in engineering in order to do surveying and GPS work. I don't know if you want to say anything more about that. He does. Okay. We'll go on. This is an example of the budget change. So this was originally approved. Here's what they're going to ask for now. In order for, he can't go buy that piece. He can buy it. And so by law, he can't go just spend any money. He has to get approval from the city council in order to do that. Okay, the next one, police. The police line, they're asking dollars more. Look at that, $4.5 million to run the police department.
That's a lot of money for the police. $43,000 more. Let's see where his $43,000 is. Well, it's in a liquor control and narcotic enforcement. He wants a little bit more. Utilities down there to run the air conditioner and the heater in the wintertime. Supplies and that he's asking for in police. We'll jump 81,000. Here's where theirs are going to be at. Utilities, we're going to increase pounds of 24,000, and then in capital, a building improvement in the capital area. Dale, do you want to? Okay, thank you.
We learned.
All right, the next, the big one. Yeah. Look at that. How much is he asking for, Scouts? Exactly, $649,000 for some project that's in the parks. How many live up by Maple Mountain High School? Kind of over that area? Well, this is a project. For one project, and Dale, what is it?
It's a new park.
A new park.
A new park, yeah.
By, good answer, Dale. A school right next door to it has got a place for a new park, and the new park's name is? Sierra Park. And so the community, and this is when it's going to be budgeted and approved tonight, so that park can go forth and to be built. So you can see a couple other items also. As part of that amount, here's the park right here, Sierra Park, $510,000, a campground extension, $40,000, a mountain bike trail of $23,000, new restrooms facility, or to finish those at those places, right? So these are some new things that are going to be happening around the city. Okay, fairgrounds, $45,000. What's in that 45? It's capital items, utilities, a couple items like that. So that's 45. Recreation, 61,000. Where's that at? It's additional utilities charges that are around. That may be adjusted later. I'm not sure. Okay, so that's the expenses.
Kent, why don't you explain the utility thing?
Okay. This is a good example of, even in some of the other funds, you're going to see, according to a new accounting principle the state auditor wants us to follow, is that we cannot charge, we have to. And so at the library, you pay about a 50% discount to our own city service for our own use in our water and our power and things like that, and irrigation stuff. But a new accounting standard says that we have to charge the retail rate. And so this year, we're increasing Paul and collected in the utility. Going to be a charge that the library will have to pay the fair market utility costs that are out there. It's going to be utilities is going to be for that reason. We are our own utility company. We do the power, the water, increase our own costs to pay ourselves for an accounting reason. Most of the stuff that those funded by is by taxes. And so you can collect sales tax, property tax, energy tax, phone tax, cable tax, some of those. Here's some major changes that are going to take place for this budget in order to fund that $1 million increase. So the $1 million is just in the general fund, and there's where the increase. Recreation is what? They're going to do their work on that new park from impact fees that the recreation department or the building department has been collecting for the recreation department. That's where that's funded from. Many of the other increases are going to have to come from the city's own reserve account in the general fund of $315,000. And if any changes in the discuss if there's any increases or decreases, those will need to be an increase and to do it. And right now, those funding sources are going to be beginning fund balance out of our reserves. Into the enterprise funds, there's $1.9 million. That's those, as you can see, it's our utility accounts: water, sewer plant, electric, garbage, storm drain, irrigation, and broadband that John. Summary of those major projects. In water, the sewer, there's sewer lines that's going to be replaced. Electric projects, there are additional $500,000 in those. Basically, these are the enterprise funds increases that add up for the majority those project costs. But as you can see, the increases in broadband are those utility costs that. $1.9 million in the enterprise funds. There's a rate in your packet. There's a rate page. What that rate for water and PI, and depending upon the size of your meter, your base rate is in the PI utilities. We already have an increased or accelerated base rate based on the budget. Water meters, the culinary water meters. If you have a larger meter, then you're going to pay a larger base rate than a residential base rate. The increased cost is because of those meters cost more, and those meters cost more to maintain. And so it's just an increase in the base fees. I'm not sure how many houses have larger meters. There may be a couple, one or two houses that might have over a residential meter, but for the most part, most residential meters will not see any fee increase into their utility account. It's mainly for just larger meters that are mostly in businesses. Okay? So in the end, this is the summary at the end. It's a $2.8 million increase. It's for project slash. There's some new projects that are being started, and there's a funding. A park, it has impact fee revenues that's going to be used for that. Budget revision tonight. It's for approving the budget of the six.
Great.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Gordon
Davis.
and second by Councilman Scopes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are now in public hearing. Anybody from the public would like to come and address the budget? Great.
So, second.
A motion by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any discussion about the budget? More to come?
I've got a question. I don't know if it's Dave or Dell or somebody can answer this. Was there, the cement work on the library, was that included in this?
No.
No. Okay. When is that project scheduled to be done, you know?
When you budget it.
Well, yeah, but was that in spring, or gonna do it this fall, or what?
Dale, when are you gonna do the cement work at the library?
Whenever we get the money approved.
Okay.
Fall or spring?
Well, soon,
Yesterday.
How serious is it as far as the?
Blankets.
it's not good.
it's not. Aesthetically, it doesn't look great, but nobody's in danger.
Okay.
I mean, you have two cement projects. One is at the rec office where the ADA ramp is budgeted. And apparently the reason that's budgeted is because of the safety aspect of it. And then you have the library cement work. Richard's your cement person, and the two, or if you even have looked at them, I don't know.
I have not looked at them, so, but I talked to Dell about it a little bit, and I'm sure with some RFPs on the bids that we might be able to come out a little lower than what the engineer's estimations are of them. But as of right now, that's the engineer's estimations on each project.
Get 50,000+,
Yeah.
32, so.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Hey, Kent. Deposits page where you've struck some of these drinking rates and things. With the
Those are Chris's strikes. I'm trying to bring it up right now.
Okay. Want to borrow mine?
Yeah. Okay, are you looking at?
Drinking rates and drinking water rates have been just
Church wouldn't
struck
be out.
through, and then the PI hydrant access fee.
Okay. What we did for the base rate for drinking water without pressure, units without pressurized irrigation is we just, since they were the same as the base rate for units with pressurized irrigation, we didn't feel like it was important to delineate between the two. So we just have the base rate is $10 for either. So that's why it got struck out of that. Metered residential rate, if you'll look up above, it's redefined according to what we were charging. So before a lot of the rates it said, and then we would calculate those costs. And so what I did is I just went to the building department and got the rates that we were giving them each year, and I put them in here, and then annually we'll review those rates, put it in here, and that's how they'll be updated. So publish it in the budget. So
Okay.
they didn't go up, they just got published.
Okay.
So is that a water rates from present rate of $10 to $162?
Okay, so that was on the one, on the base rate for meter size. Okay. And then pressurized irrigation, you'll notice that it was a graduated rate, $36 for a 1.5 inch meter, $41 for a 2 inch. The reason being is the meter, which right here, a regular meter costs $250. A 4 inch or a 2 inch meters are in $1,000. Very expensive to purchase and to maintain and replace when they have to be replaced. But not just that, they have a bigger impact on our system. They have the ability to draw a lot more water out of our system, so their impact is greater. So a graduated rate is actually more equitable for the larger meters. But we were charging $10 for a $200 meter or for a $3,000 meter.
per month.
We were losing money.
Yes, it wasn't very equitable, whereas this, when we did our pressurized irrigation system, we had set it up equitably, and so we just mimicked that with the drinking water.
This won't affect the residential citizens, though.
Yeah, this will just affect commercial. And there's really not a lot of large water meters. Sometimes we have a lot of landscaping, so you might have a large pressurized irrigation meter, but those rates aren't going up. Although they are adjusting a little bit, and so if you look on the pressurized irrigation rate, we some science where we couldn't reproduce how those were calculated. So we took the volume capacity that those meters can supply over to the left. You can see where it says pi r squared. Anyway, we took that and we applied that to the base rate, and we're able to combine that to there's a kind of a mathematical way to come up with these rates now. So. No, I was just saying that before.
Yes.
But before we mathematically.
Yeah,
Mayor, I know what pi squared means to you, bud.
glad to hear it. Is that a cherry or a strawberry pie?
Strawberry.
Thank you. I'm all over it. Intelligent questions that want to be asked.
Well, I would move we adopt the fiscal year 2015 budget revision number 1.
By Councilman Dart.
Second.
Second by Councilman Mendenhall. All in favor? All right. New business. Preliminary plat approval for the Trailside subdivision. Oh, we did? Oh, we didn't. We did a zone change.
I believe you acted on the preliminary plat at the same time.
Did we? Yeah, it's good. Preliminary plat for Spanish Trails, a residential subdivision located.
We're down to one last phase in this development that involves constructing 3 different townhome buildings. Right here, Trails Boulevard, which is in the vicinity of the baseball field. However, we have a situation where there hasn't been a plat recorded for over a year. And with that, we've had to go back through the preliminary plat plans to review those again to make sure they still conform to our ordinances. And we need you to reapprove the preliminary plat to get that revested so that then, in fact, I think we hope to approve a final plat for those 3 buildings, those 3 townhome buildings. So last phase, this will finish the development, I believe, really all of the infrastructure for those buildings. That road. We need you to reapprove the preliminary plat for Spanish Trails.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
One question, since it's been a year, have there been any changes standard that need to be looked
I understand, I don't think there's anything that we believe should be changed here, simply again because the infrastructure has been in place for a while, yeah.
so they still meet all requirements?
Yes.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
Approval for Spanish Spanish Trails Boulevard.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Scobes, a second by Councilman Mendenhall. All in. All right. Preliminary plat extension request for Legacy Farms.
We're looking to avoid Spanish trails by having you extend the approval for legacy so that they can keep their vesting for an additional 6 months. For that, with their master plan development there. Letter from one of the property owners involved, Dwayne Hutchings, just explaining the nature.
The extension request for Legacy Farms.
Second. Got a motion by Councilman Gordon. Second. In favor, say aye.
Aye.
SCADA system RFP award. Did.
Okay, in the budget, the approved budget, we have a project to replace the SCADA system. This is a $200,000 budget item. We went to RFP. Would both do the design, the of this system. 5 proposals, and we organized a selection committee with a couple of city council members, and in the committee we recommend that we go with SKM Inc. $85. They were not the low bid. The low bid was actually $181,000 with Bruno Engineering, and then the second was was $185,000 with SCI. Some of the reasons why we recommend SCM is it actually included more than those other bids. It had more licensing, and one of the things that we liked is that it did not have as much proprietary type equipment and programming in there that the other ones had. So we think in the long run they would actually have been cheaper, as we've had it to add to the program. SCAM also has done work for us in the past and understands our system, and the upgrade would be consistent with what we have there.
Some of the things that SKM had into their systems and the other ones didn't bring in, or what?
Well, I think if you kind of explain what that might help. And
so this is and facilities at the treatment plant, and make sure they're functioning properly, make sure that we're passing the tests that we need to pass according to the regulations, and then notifies us if there's some sort of a problem. We also see what the flows are, and if they're high to the plant. I think what Richard Davis, a fair playing field, did the other bidders have the opportunity to do what SKM was able to do? And the answer is yes. We didn't have any preference for them. They didn't have an advantage because they had worked with our system in the past. We would have gone with another entity if it was cheaper in the long run and not as much proprietary, which I think makes it cheaper in the long run. And so it was actually up to those proposers to use proprietary programs that cost a lot of ongoing maintenance, or to use more of an open type program. So it's not my understanding that I didn't get the feeling that there was any advantage that passed there.
experience was very critical. In the resumes that were experience, and that was critical.
They had the most experience.
Any other discussions, comments? Not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the, award the SCADA system treatment plan upgrade to SKM Inc. for the amount of $203,485.
A motion by Councilman Gordon.
Second.
Second by Councilman Scope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have a closed session. Okay.
I move we adjourn.
A motion by Councilman Dart, second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for being here.
David, come on up here for a minute.
And that's a double on air for Triple T.